have a few short words by His Excellency, the Jamaican Commissioner, Mr. Anthony Johnson.
Thank you very much, Madam. My friends, Linton and Gus. It's very nice to hear these things being recounted, and the important thing is, particularly for the young ones, these little ones there, for them to be hearing it, because unfortunately our people still operate in an oral tradition, and we don't read enough about the things that we ought to want to read. That's right. Which are important for us. That's it. And it's very, very important, so that people make statements about us which are completely untrue, and people believe it is so. Since the afternoon we have been speaking here for the last hour, and the language that has been used has been perfect English. Word. And everybody understands what we are saying. Word. And nobody told them to speak in perfect English. They speak it because they think it, and because we are as capable in the English language as anybody else. Let's understand. And I wanted to say a few things which might not be known. On the 1st of August 1914, Marcus Garvey started, or rather, sorry, the Right Excellent, that's right. Marcus MOSIAH Garvey started the UNIA at the top of King Street in Kingston. And today, the UNIA operations are located at that very same location. There is a library. It is a 3-story building, and we are, government of Jamaica is requesting persons who have documents about relating to Marcus Garvey or the Garvey movement to donate them to that institution, the UNIA Marcus Garvey Library at the top of King Street. I'm also encouraging people who go to Jamaica to go there and visit it, and don't just go in and walk out and say a bit, but go in there, go in there, look for the index, spend a day reading about Marcus Garvey and what he stood for and what happened. It's very important, because the things that have been said here this afternoon have been said, I mean, I have heard them said at least maybe 1,000 times, but I'm sure there are many of you who are hearing it for the first time. So it's important you go to the Garvey Library at the foot of King Street. It's a nice building, concrete building, and air conditioned. They have proper seats and all that. You don't have to worry, they have bathroom, everything. So there's no excuse for you not to go. When you go, take the little ones, take the youngsters with you, and make certain the youngsters go and get something there so that they remember the Garvey tradition. That's a very, very important point. I want to also advise you that every Sunday afternoon in the 1930s, Mr. Garvey had a great musical offering at a place that was called El Dewey's Park, which is on Slipe Road beside Malcolm's Hardware. That place, we are told, has never had a successful business. It was sold by the court to pay for debts that Marcus Garvey had run into. And Marcus Garvey pointed out that the title for that place was not in the name of the company in which he had borrowed the money, and therefore it ought not to have been seized. And it is said, I don't know that this is so, that he said that no successful business would ever go on at that place. And the place was sold somewhere around 1936, 37, and I gather there was no successful business. But they're setting up a big business. They're setting up a big fish business there, very attractive, and it might well succeed. It has good money behind it. But what I wondered if UNIA would approach them and ask them to put up a sign that would say that it was at this site that the first national hero of the country had those beautiful concerts every Sunday afternoon, when he not only spoke of his doctrines, but he wrote. He was a lot is not said about it. He was a great music composer. He wrote a number of important hymns and cantatas which were performed at East Street. I know my old people told me about it. It was gorgeous music that was at that center. And one of the things we ought to be doing is finding copies of the Marcus Garvey compositions and getting them to re-perform, because it's excellent music, and some of what we get today, unfortunately, I don't agree, I don't too like. But that kind of music, it's beautiful music that Garvey composed, and we should know these things, and we should attempt to see that they are performed and known to everyone. Okay, finally, I would like to appeal to those who are in a position to do so, to see if we cannot find the funds. Government doesn't have it, I can tell you that. You go down to St. Anne's Bay. If you go to St. Anne's Bay, you will see where the piece of land on which Marcus Garvey lived. And if you see, there's a plaque there. It was opened, I think, in 1983 by me, many years ago, 1983. But the government is going to be rebuilding a house in the same style of Mr. Garvey's family on that piece of land in St. Anne's Bay. The spirit of the Great One is watching over us. Mr. Garvey learned about life and his printing and his ability at Stevenson's Printery on Main Street in St. Anne's Bay. The Stevenson family have all migrated or left, and they are anxious to sell the building and the premises to something to do with Mr. Garvey, because they kept in touch with him. And we need to raise some money to, first of all, maintain and refurbish the building, because all of the printery works are still there. And Mr. Garvey used to run off his pamphlets there when he was a young man, before he went to Kingston. The point is that people are willing to pay money to go to these museums all over the world, and there are enough people who know of Marcus Garvey who would pay whatever it is to go, that would pay for, would make it a good business for somebody to run it as a Marcus Garvey museum. And the last time I saw one of the Stevenson brothers, he said, "This in bad condition, his wood and it's rotting, and he really would like, before he dies, to see something there that is dedicated to the Right Excellent Marcus MOSIAH Garvey." And let me say that the UNI still refers to him as Honorable Mr. Garvey, but Right Excellent is higher than Honorable, and Right Excellent is the highest form of attribution that the government of Jamaica has to give to anybody. Right Excellent. So he is the Right Excellent Marcus MOSIAH Garvey.